Emily, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Ev. It's so good to see you again. It's been so long.
So long. But wait, before we continue, you are pregnant as we speak.
Yes.
So
Yes.
thank
Very
you so
much so.
very much so. So much that you're due next
Any
week?
day now.
Any day. Exactly.
Has anyone ever had given birth on your podcast before? We could be a first here.
I would love to be a first, but not on that one. Okay.
We'll wait another week, hopefully.
Exactly.
I keep saying I want to wait till October. I keep telling this baby, I'm like, not till October. So stay in there till tomorrow.
Welcome to Recast and Rise, the podcast for performers and creatives ready to explore what's next. You'll hear inspiring stories of artists who reinvented themselves and found new careers after the stage. Let's recast and rise. All right, so we're here to talk about career change, which we were together in the Love Show for many years, and now you transition into the corporate world, and super exciting. I want to hear all about that, of course. But before, tell us more about what you did as a performer.
Sure. So I was at Mystère by Cirque du Soleil a little bit before we met at Love. So I went to the University of Arizona in 2009, was there for 2 years, and I was studying business and dance. And then my mom was actually the one that was like, come home and visit us. And by the way, there's a Cirque audition that you should just like go to for fun and practice at. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm still in school. I'm not doing that yet. And so she kind of like nudged me to go. And I think because like I wasn't like actively pursuing that, I like booked the job with Mystère, and I was like, wait a minute, now I have to decide if I'm going to quit school. Like, where are we going to go from here? And so anyways, I did end up transitioning from University of Arizona to UNLV, and then was dancing as an on-call performer at Mystère for about 3 or 4 years before we met at Love. And then I think my entire career with Love and Mystère included was about 7 years. Yeah.
Incredible. 7 years, eh? When you think about that. And I love that many reasons why you got the job, because yes, you're incredible. But also, when you audition and you're kind of relaxed, you're not, you don't need the role. You're there to have fun. And totally. That's when you get the job.
Yeah. I tell this story to so many people, and I just remember going into this giant cattle call audition. I think there was like 500 people there, some like ludicrous amount. And it was like a 3-day event, and I didn't put a lot of pressure around it because, again, it was my mom just like telling me to go practice and do this thing for getting exposure and stuff and practicing audition. And then I remember looking around at the end of the like 3 days and being like, there's like 8 of us here. This might be like something that is going to happen for me. So.
And what happened after that? Because you were obviously at school. So tell us about that transition there.
So I was a double major at that point at Arizona, and business and dance. And when I decided to take the job and move home, because my parents were living in Las Vegas, I moved back home with them, which was great because I was able to save some money. I transferred my credits to UNLV and decided, like, what do I do now? But I want to finish. I put like 2 years into schooling. So I like basically took all my paperwork to like the registrar's or office at UNLV and was like, these are all the credits I have. Like, what's going to get me out of here the fastest? Like, what kind of degree? Sign me up for that one. Because at this point, it was just like, I just want to get a degree and check that off my list. Like, now I was focused on like my career with Cirque and dancing and stuff. But I kind of wanted to always have this like fallback plan of something. So they like ran my credits through the systems, and they were like, it looks like a Bachelor of Arts in Economics is going to be your fastest way. I was like, see you on Monday. So,
and the rest of history.
Yeah, I mean, and it ended up being like I had taken a couple econ credits. Like, if you would have told me I was going to be an economics major, I'd been like, yeah, right. No, that's not something that I would have signed up for. But I liked it. Like, it was fine, and it got me through quickly. And I was just like, okay, one day I'd like to use this business degree for something. I don't know what that is yet, but we'll see,
We'll see. How did you navigate both? So you were going to school during the day and then doing the shows at night?
Yeah. So luckily, I mean, I was like on call, like I said. So like for those that don't know what on call is, it's essentially they call you in as needed. And sometimes it can be every day if someone's hurt, or it could be like just last minute at 5 o'clock, they say like, hey, you're needed for the show. So it was perfect at that time in my life because I was going to school during the day, and then like rehearsing if they needed me, or if I did the show for stints on end, it was like nice, good, consistent money, but I was also working at home. So it worked out well in that regard, but it was very like unstable for a bit. And then, which was great because I was going to school. And then after a while, I was like, I want a full-time contract, So then I started pursuing like the opportunity at Love, and that's when we met.
Yes. And then at Love, were you done with school back then?
That's a good question. I want to say, I think I finished like within the first year that I was at Love. I think I graduated that year, but I'd have to fact check that. It was somewhere in there.
So there was a period of time where you were doing both, going to school and performing, and that's not easy.
I think I was like the whole thing when I started all this, I was like 19, 20 years old. So I just had this like mentality of work hard, play hard, like no sleep. Now, I mean, you kind of do that as a mom now, you and I, but it's in a different capacity.
Work hard, play hard.
Yeah, exactly. But I think some of it, I was young, and I don't want to like, make it like only young people can do it. I mean, anyone can do it. You just put your mind to it and you do it, right? It's whether that's motherhood, whether that's a career, whether that's anything, once you decide you want to do something, you do it. But I do think like I took summer school classes, which like, so I was able to kind of spread that out a bit of time and just kind of focused on like 2 or 3 classes at a time. So I never, ever loaded myself up with like a ton of classes at once. Like that was never in my cards to like be like, I can do this all like super quickly. It was like, when I get this done, I get it done.
Yep. Would you say that for those that listened and are interested in potentially going to school while performing, one of the advice would be to don't take too much, right?
Definitely.
It's got to be sustainable.
I would say don't take too much at a time. Like just let yourself have time to focus on like 1 or 2 classes at a time. And then you have opportunity to focus on your dancing or your performing or whatever that may be. Because as soon as you start loading up and trying to do things like too quickly and have it all compounded, you just are overwhelmed, or it's just you're not going to finish, or you quit or something. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So now you are at Love, school is over, and then it's time to transition and to pivot. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I think from a young age, I always knew that dance wasn't going to be like the lifelong thing for me. I loved teaching, and I started teaching at a very young age. I want to say I started teaching like at 15 years old at my dance studio, and I loved it, but I didn't want to have that be my like career forever. Like I come from a family that has a ton of salespeople in it, a lot of corporate minded people. And I was always interested in that. So eventually I kind of knew I wanted to like have a more quote unquote normal life, if you will. Like I wanted to get married, I wanted to have kids, I wanted to have nights off. So like to me it was like I wanted to take that step at some point. Didn't really know when, but I knew I wanted to do it when I was like somewhere in my like mid to late 20s, just because it felt like the longer I waited, the harder it was going to be for me. So I kind of like felt like a little like mama bird kicking myself out of the nest, like maybe my dance career wasn't over, but like I had a couple things, like some injuries happen, and I was like, maybe this is the time. And I just kind of like, some people would probably say I quit my career too early because I had talent and I had it, but like my drive to like continue dancing was like starting to dwindle. So I think to anyone that like maybe has that like inkling of like, I'm not loving this as much as I want to, or I am right now, and I want to try something else, like try it. You can always go back to dancing, or performing or whatever.
Yeah. You left on a high note.
I did. It was sad, but it was on my own terms. And I always said I wanted to do that. Like I didn't want some like injury to like stop me from performing or whatever. I said I was going to like do this, and like I could always go back to it if I like really, really missed it. And I actually did that in school too, because when I first went to Arizona, I wasn't going to dance. And my mom was the one that kept saying, dance, 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 like you need to dance. And I was the one that was like, I'm going to go to like do cheerleading or pom line or something so crazy because I was burnt out. And I went back to it because I missed it so much. So like, that's the other thing is you can always go back.
Now you transitioned into the corporate world. What are you doing currently?
Yeah, so I work at Team One, which is an advertising company that handles all of Lexus, the car company's advertising. So anything experiential marketing, media, anything like that. Any ad that you see comes from my company. So
how did you work your way into the role of management supervisor?
So my kind of path was not linear at all. When I left Cirque, I decided I wanted to travel and have some time off. So I did that. And then from there, I decided, you know what, I want to like apply for any job that's interesting in a city that I want to live in. I knew I didn't want to live in Las Vegas anymore. So I like narrowed it down to like Denver, Los Angeles, and Austin, Texas, of all places. I was like, I can establish a lifestyle in any of these.
Yep.
And I was single and I just was ready to live in a different place. So I started applying for all these random jobs. And I ended up getting a sales job through a contact of my dad's golfing buddy or something. It's like all about, you know, connections and who you can kind of network with and stuff. And he was the publisher at Los Angeles Magazine. And he was like, look, I have a sales coordinator role. It's very, very entry level. And I was like, gonna take a pay cut, but I was like, you know what? I need to start somewhere. So I took that role. I worked my like booty off for like a year, actually maybe even less than a year. And he was like, okay, I'm going to give you a full-time sales role in this job. So I started doing some print advertising sales for Los Angeles Magazine. And then a family friend came to me and said, hey, I have this awesome opportunity with Honda doing like business incentive sales. So still in the same sales world, but with American Honda. And so I applied for that job, ended up moving from there to this like sales role there and stayed for them for about a year, which was great. And then I had a recruiter reach out to me from Team One based on my experience with Honda and said, hey, you'd be an awesome fit with Team One. And I had always been intrigued by the advertising world. It's such a fun kind of like culture that I wasn't getting in the sales world. So yeah, that's kind of how I ended up there, and then just kind of worked hard at Team One and just kind of moved my way up.
How would you say that Team One found you? What platform was it on? LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, yeah. A recruiter. It could have just been timing. Quite frankly, I'm not sure that would have really happened. Like I've been with Team One for I think it's 4 years in December. So like 4 years ago, the economy was a little bit different where it was kind of pre-COVID. There was a lot of job openings and I think someone on my team had left and they were just really looking for someone that had a similar kind of like automotive experience to me. And so a recruiter reached out and I really wasn't looking for a job at that time, but it just seemed to like align so nicely with where I kind of wanted to go. And I was kind of burnt out with sales. Like sales is kind of a grind. The highs are high, the lows are low. And I had met my husband at that point. So like sales was not like, I didn't need to come like grind the payment and make money. I wanted to do more like account management and client services and things like that, which was way more like now looking, I'm so much happier in that type of role than a sales position.
It aligns more with what you like and who you are. And what part of the transition challenged you the most from being a performer to now what you do?
I think as a performer, like there's like a really good like competitive side to us, right? That like wants to do well and wants to succeed and wants to be good at something right off the bat. Like that was challenging to me to be like a dancer my entire life. Like I started at 2, like I was like very high level in what I did. Like I was top of my like kind of echelon of art form, if you will. And so starting something new and like being kind of like low man on the totem pole and like learning and growing and trying to like not be like really, really good at something was super challenging for me. And also feeling like a little bit behind, right? Like I left the performance world at like 26, 27, somewhere in there. And I was then going and like working a very entry level job that like a very young college student would have, which was totally fine. But I felt like, oh man, I'm like this like older person in a younger position. And so I kind of had to like check my ego at the door for a second and be like, you know, you had this amazing career with Cirque du Soleil and you had this amazing dance career that you wouldn't have exchanged for anything else. So just acknowledge that life and like you're rebuilding and you're starting over. And if you're a little bit behind, like who cares? But I did have a hard time being like, I'm starting over, essentially.
I love that you're saying that because obviously this is a big conversation for performers as we know that are transitioning. And I love what you're saying. So for everyone that's listening, Emily is saying, you got this. Quick pause. If you are wondering what's next, you can visit my website and download my workbook with 10 prompts to jumpstart your career change. You can also send me a message. I'd love to connect. Now back to our chat. You love dancing, but you always knew that that was not the only thing you wanted to do. If you would have not danced at all, let's say you're 19, you're not doing the Mister audition, you're still in Arizona. What do you think Emily would have done?
Oh man. Like in the dance world, I don't know. I think I always thought I was going to go to New York and have some like concert type dance like role. But then if I didn't do dance at all, I don't know. As a kid, I wanted to be a teacher. Like I did love like education and I've always loved like kids and that aspect of it. So at one point, I thought I wanted to be a teacher. Another idea I had when I was thinking about leaving Cirque du Soleil was like, I want to be a sonogram technician. Like, they're just like random things that pop into your head. They're like, can I make a career out of this? So I do think I landed in something that I really, really enjoy that suits me very well. Like, if maybe not necessarily automotive. Like, I don't know if I would have been like, oh my gosh, I love cars.
Yeah.
But I love like the people that I work with, my clients, like identifying their goals and their priorities and how we can like make their advertising plans like successful and grow their business. And so that's what I love to do is working with people. And yeah.
I love that you went for it. I think it's a quality really that most performers have.
Thanks. Yeah, I think so too. I think a lot of performers are very driven and dedicated to whether it's their craft or like their next opportunity. It's all about a mindset, right? And most people that have made a successful career in performing are going to make that transition well. So,
what kind of support system made a difference for you when you transitioned from love to the corporate world?
I've always been super close with my family. And then all of you guys at Love, like, man, I just had such an incredible experience with the people there. People were amazing. I still have like absolute lifelong friends that I talk to from Love. So people that cheered me on the sidelines of, I remember it was like a retirement. Like it was a joke because I was 26 years old, but it was like Emily's retiring. Like it just like that sticks out to me. But I had just like really group of good friends and then family and then even family friends that were in the corporate world that I was able to like rely on later that were helping me network and get those jobs.
Again, networking. It's who you know. It's not the only thing, but it's a big factor.
It's a start for sure. It's like, I mean, I now interview people all the time and we get stacks and stacks of resumes and so you can't look through them all. It's just like, that's the fact of the matter is you can't. And so what happens is someone's resume gets to the top of the pile because they knew someone who knew someone and they put in a good word. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get the job, but it means I get a second look.
Yep. What's one big myth about career change you wish performers knew isn't true?
Stumping me on that one, Ev. That it's too late, like you're too old or, that kind of thing. I think that anybody can do anything. Whatever age you are, if you're 45, 50, 60, whenever, like if you're a teacher and you're in a different, like, it doesn't even have to relate to performing. It can be anything. Like if I decided tomorrow I wanted to career change to that sonogram technician thing we talked about, I would have to just put my mind to it and not think, oh, I'm too old, I'm starting over, I'm all this. So I think it's just limiting beliefs, right? Like just getting out of the like self-limiting beliefs, which is hard. It's super hard.
Super hard. It seems like you love what you're doing now. But if there was, and maybe the answer is nothing, but if you could go back, would you do anything differently regarding your career change?
No, I think I would just be kinder to myself. Like, I think finally, like this year, I'm at a place where I'm like, oh, I feel like caught up to where like people that worked their entire life in this field that never had a performing career or anything are where I'm at, like at this age in this type of role. And I think I put so much pressure on myself of like feeling like I needed to like get to that level and be where I thought I needed to be had I not had this like other amazing career. And I just would put less pressure on myself because it's like, if it's meant to be and you're going to get there and you work hard, like it's going to happen, right? Or not. And that's okay as long as you like what you're doing. And I always say you don't have to love what you're doing because everything's a job, right? Like at the end of the day, like we all need to make money and support our families or support ourselves or whatever. So you don't need to love what you're doing, but you need to kind of like it. It makes the days a lot easier and better. And
yeah, it helps, you know?
Exactly.
You can love it just a little.
Yeah. And if you absolutely love it, then even like icing on the cake. And, you know,
Exactly.
I'm not going to lie, like I'm on maternity leave starting last week and I'm so excited. Like not working is awesome too.
Yeah. There's nothing like vacation. I feel like when I go on vacation and I come back, I feel refreshed and I'm ready to go.
Totally.
Talking about myths, I do think that there's a myth around, if you work in the corporate world, you don't get to be creative. Of course, it is not as being creative as being a performer. I think we all agree with that. But how do you keep creativity alive in your work now? If any, I mean, do you?
Huge, because I will say that I'm probably surrounded by some of the most creative people, like more so than even in my performing career. And I'll say this because it's a different type of creative. They're actual creatives. Like that is their title. Like they create advertising ads and they come up with these campaigns and amazing like stories and stuff. So like that's not really my role, but this is a corporate job and I get to be around that. So like that I don't want to do because that sounds really stressful to me. But I do have that outlet to work with these types of people and I have that kind of creative outlet, if you will, to be able to surround myself with those types of people. So I feel like I'm not missing that from the performance world, right?
Brilliant. What is next for Emily?
Baby, very soon.
I was hoping you would say that. Of course.
Baby, any day now. So obviously just, you know, focusing on my family for the next couple months. I am lucky enough to have like in the corporate world, I am lucky enough to have this amazing maternity leave. So I am going to spend it with my husband and my 21-month-old daughter, and then my new son, and then hopefully dive back right into like managing my team and getting back into the swing of work in the spring and just kind of seeing what next career paths I can take at Team One. And if it's not at Team One, somewhere else. But I do love my clients with Lexus and everything I do with them. So I can't imagine obviously not going back to that in 6 months and not continuing to like grow within that pillar.
Well, Emily, thank you so much for sharing your career transition path. That is definitely not the norm. You did that audition on the fly, kind of just wanted to have fun, got the gig. Oh, well.
And so is life, right? Like it's like nothing is in life is ever linear. And the more linear you try to make things, like it just ends up zigging, zagging, going crazy. So expect the unexpected, right?
What a beautiful way to close this chat. Expect the unexpected. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ev. This was awesome.
Appreciate it. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. If you like the story, make sure to share it with a creative friend. Subscribe to this podcast and write a review so more people can access the tools shared on this platform. Follow me on my socials for more tips and tricks to navigate your career change. Until next time, I will see you in the next episode.